Yes, love kicking off the Blind Appeal College Football Hour with the head coach of the Idaho Vandals, the 3-1, third-ranked nationally Idaho Vandal football team. We're joined by Coach Jason Eck. And Coach Eck, appreciate you coming back. Hopefully your meetings went smooth today. Looks like you're a little earlier than you typically are for this segment. I'm guessing that's a good sign. Good meetings today, Coach?
Well, good meetings. I had to get here and correct you because we're 4-1 ball game. We're not 3-1. Don't try
Did
to
I say 3-1? Prater's
Yes.
shaking his head already.
I was worried you guys gave up on us after we lost to Cal. I haven't seen you since we lost that game, but those Power 5 road wins are tough to come by. There's nothing no shame in that.
No, the 4-1 Idaho Vandals, damn it. No, we're excited to have you back. Coach, how has this team been this year at doing the little things? And what does Jason Eck define as the little things?
Well, I think little things, not beating yourself, protecting the ball on offense, making sure your alignment's all right. I think we're doing a solid job. I think we got to continue to grow as a team, though. I think that's the key thing throughout the season, especially when you're in a system in FCS where you have a playoff structure. You got to keep improving so that you're peaking at the right time at the end of the year as we get into the playoffs. But I think we've done a good job and very impressed. The last couple of weeks, we've been very resilient team, and we've battle through adversity to get 2 good wins over ranked teams.
Boise State has struggled on this opening possession this year, Coach. 0 points collectively in the 5 games. You guys have had more success. First off, your offense has scored on over 60% of its possessions entirely this season. That's one of the tops in FCS, but you're 5 for 5 in scoring on your opening drives, 3 touchdowns, 2 field goals. Coach, what are the keys in the importance to a fast start?
Well, I think it's a collaborative effort on the coaching staff. We have an openers meeting every Thursday, myself and the offensive staff, and we try to get input from everybody, really all 5 of our offensive assistants and myself kind of give our input on, what plays we think and, what are things we want to establish. What do we want to establish early? What do we want to show? Sometimes there's a formation you want to see just for getting to something later. But, I think we were able to come to a good consensus and have a good plan with our opening script. And Coach Schleissner's done a great job calling things for our offense. And, again, we're not very good at coin tosses, so we keep losing the coin toss. I think all 5 weeks we've lost the coin toss and they've deferred. But, someone will probably learn and want to take the ball once in a while if we keep scoring every first drive.
Jason Eck, he's joining us here as we're going to keep tabs with him throughout the rest of this season. Cal Poly on Saturday. We're looking forward to that game. Coach, ball game, I haven't watched anywhere near as much Idaho Vandals football as ball game has. I'm working on it, but when I look at your stats, when I look at your numbers, when I look at what I see, the one thing that really jumps out at me, and this has to be one of the most important words for you, is just consistency. I mean, scoring across the quarters is consistent. You start strong, you finish strong. Week to week, you're very, very consistent. It's almost impossible to get 100 football players consistent every single week. How do you do that?
You keep emphasizing it. I was just talking to the group before I came up here about consistency. I thought we had a very good Tuesday practice, but we got to be consistent every day with how we go about it. And we got to put together another really good Wednesday practice today. And, especially just the structure of the FCS playoffs, man. It's so big to get good seeding. So, again, you can't afford to lose a game because you don't play as well as you should down the stretch. And then, it's one game and you're out. It's not like these baseball playoffs that are going on where you got a series and you can survive one bad game and you're going home. So consistent high-level play is really what we're looking for. And, again, I think we've had that at times, but I think we need to keep raising our bar of our consistency.
The Vandals at 6 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Throw that in there, Prater. Sorry, man. I just jacked your question.
Go ahead.
I'm excited that we got Eck on the show. Oh, Coach, I just wanted to talk. How good is Anthony Woods? I mean, he's a true sophomore. He's leading the Big Sky in rushing, the 5 touchdowns last week, the FCS National Player of the Week. I mean, holy smokes, man. You've been around some good backs. Where's this kid?
He's a great player. He's a great player. And, again, I think of guys that I've coached who've gone on to be great players and pros. Pierre Strong was with the Browns right now, got drafted by the Patriots in the 4th round. I think Anthony compares very favorably to him, especially this early in his career. He's a true sophomore. Pierre redshirted as his freshman year, but he's got to continue to add some good weight. He's probably like about 100 and between 182 and 185 right now. So I think that's a big thing that he'll have to work on over the next few years, is getting his weight up to over 200 pounds to put himself in position for that. But he's a natural runner. He's very good in protection, and last week's game, he probably played as good as a college football player can have, getting 5 touchdowns and rushing for over 200 yards, and can really make guys miss. His fantastic vision. He's a great player.
Coach, I mentioned the consistency word, and that's going to really come into play over these next 3 weeks. You got Cal Poly this week, and they're one of the, they're at the bottom of the standings. I'll just leave it at that. And then obviously 2 of the most massive home games in the history of Idaho Vandals football back to back. How do you get inside your guys' heads and tell them you need to be just as good against Cal Poly as you are against Montana and Montana State?
Well, the big thing we've approached this week is just we got to improve. We got to improve as a team, and I really do believe this, that if you have a week where you kind of prepare just good enough to beat a team who's got a losing record in your conference, it's going to shortchange you down the road. So we got to attack this week trying to get as good as we can and improve fundamentally, improve with our understanding of what we're doing. We got to keep doing a good job as our coaching staff of putting the pieces in the right order and making sure we got guys in the right spots and we're utilizing the right guys, whether it be on special teams, offense, or defense. So it's really just a focus on us this week and not as much on the opponent.
Coach Jason Eck with us, Idaho Vandals. Again, this will be their first time playing at Spanos Stadium, although Vandals are 3-1 all time against Cal Poly. Coach, what's next on your wish list, say structurally, with your program? What does your program need more so to compete at an FCS national championship level? Do you have a list?
Well, I do have a list, and that's why, you don't want to, maybe I'm doing the wrong thing getting us so good so fast, because then they're going to think I don't need any of these things. But I definitely want to get our locker room redone. I think we need to upgrade our locker room. I think, again, we're playing like a top 5 team in the country in FCS. We surely don't have a top 5 locker room right now. So that's something that needs to get addressed. I think, longer term after that, I think our meeting rooms could be a little better situation. We're a little hodgepodge with our meeting rooms right now. And then, real long term, love to have another space. We lose the Kibbe Dome, the turf, during track and tennis season. So in, January, February, and March. And again, there's some great growth that can happen with your team during those months with guys throwing. And, when you have bad weather up here, they do a good job of clearing the field for us. But, sometimes you get a bad storm and it's really cold and you don't have access to it. So I'd say those are probably the 3 things to really put us, I think, on par with the best in the country. And I do think we can be a perennial FCS power. But again, I do think we need to be aggressive with trying to continue to grow that stuff and put ourselves in a better position.
Coach, I love that question. I love that answer. And this has always bothered me because I covered the Vandals in the 1990s when, it was one of their greatest decades in the history of that football program, as you know. And they've been chasing that history for the last 20 years. My biggest beef was while they were having that success in the 90s, that athletic department and that campus did very, very little to capitalize on that and grow the resources. I know that was 20 plus years ago and somebody else's problem. So what exactly are you doing to take advantage of that right now in terms of, other than just, a conversation in the hallway with the president? Hey, I need this, I need that. I would imagine you have to get out there and beat the bushes and beg people for money.
Well, we got a tremendous president who I think has a great business sense to him, President Scott Green. And I think he understands the big picture. I think he's doing some things right now to help just overall university with revenue. I think the general trend in education is, state money is declining for public institutions. So I think he's not complaining about it. He's finding other solutions, and he's doing a great job with some things with acquiring some other people, which I think could be great for the university. And I think for us, it is that personal touch. Again, we got to keep, building new connections. And, the few weeks ago at lunch, I ran into a guy and we got him to give 10 grand, so, things like that, I think are critical, to keep growing people and getting them involved with that. And, this Prater, everyone loves a winner. So we got to keep winning too. So people want to be associated with, but I think we got to keep growing and getting more people involved, and then also trying to get the people who are involved to keep up in their commitment to keep pushing this thing ahead. But that definitely is a huge part of our focus.
I can see Eck walking back from that lunch with that fat check, Prater, taking it to wherever it needs to be and say, hey, if I can do this at lunch, what's that say about everybody else? Let's go. Let's get that money in. Coach, you'd probably love to tell Jack Lane, your backup quarterback, hey, we're going to get you in a series in the second quarter. And Vonnie's okay with it, and we're going to play around with 2 quarterbacks. What is Jason Eck? You've been considered an expert at coaching that position. What's your philosophies on a 2-quarterback system in college football? How do they work?
I think you got to do what's best for your team. Every situation is different. We're not going to do that. Again, I still think when you have one great quarterback, there is no 2-quarterback system. But I think you can have success. When I was coaching at Minnesota State Mankato in 2014, we went 14-1. We were 14-0 and lost in the national championship game. And we played 2 quarterbacks that year. And
wow.
They were a little different. One was more of a runner. One was more of a thrower. I did think it helped us that year because both of them missed at least one game because of injury, where now the other guy was proven. And it was kind of the right fit for us. One was a transfer. One was a guy who knew that had been there a little longer and was coming off of an injury. So I think you got to know your team. You got to go to it. But, again, you got Tom Brady. There's no 2-quarterback system. You got Giovanni McCoy. There's no 2-quarterback system, though. I do have a lot of confidence in Jack. I think he's one of the best backups in the conference, or probably one of the best backups I've been around in the 20-some years I've been coaching. So we got a lot of confidence in him. But he'll play when he needs to or when he gets to, because we had a lead. We're not going to sub him in.
Coach, you were disappointed in the home attendance outside of the students showing up a couple of weeks ago against Sac State. I caught you on the post-game show. Did you think you'd pack the house a little quicker? Did you think those fans would come quicker and take a bite out of this apple that you've given them in such a short period of time? And sadly, I'm ticked off too. That hasn't been the case, man. The dome's not packed.
And again, we weren't too far off. Again, I was hoping we'd have 10,000. That was kind of my goal for the first game. I think we had about 9,400. So we weren't too far off. But, I recognize there are challenges with lodging, for people coming out of town. And, unfortunately this year we have 3 of our home game weekends. We're also Washington State's at home. But, I think ticket sales are looking better for this Montana game coming up. It's homecoming. So hoping to have a great game there. But, again, I think we got a really fun product for people to watch. I think you're getting great entertainment value for your dollar seeing our team play. Again, we got a lot of great players. I think we play an exciting brand of football. We've been winning. That was a huge win over Sac State, our only home game so far this year, to beat them and end their 22-game regular season winning streak. A team had just beaten Stanford. So I do encourage our fans. We got to keep turning out, and I think there'll be a lot of interest for Montana and Montana State, but we need great turnout for Idaho State, our last home game as well. I know they're improved this year. So I'm going to keep pushing that. Again, I think this team deserves it, and I'm going to keep pushing for people to get here and see this team play because, again, I guarantee no one who came to that Sac State game would say they want their money back. I think everybody got their money's worth.
I love it. Well, travel safe down to Cal Poly, Coach, and good luck getting to 5-1 for the Idaho Vandals. That'll put you still obviously undefeated in the Big Sky at 3-0. Coach, we're loving it down here in Boise, and always appreciate you coming on Idaho Sports Talk. Go get them.
Appreciate it, Prater The Ballgame. V's up.
V's up. Coach Jason Eck with us, Prater. And, dang it. I felt bad that entire interview after I botched his record on his intro.
After giving JP crap for making mistakes.
Prater,
karma.
You don't have to throw that in my face.
karma.
I don't believe in karma. Prater, I think everything's one big coincidence.
Nope. It's all about the energy you put out there on the planet, my friend.
All guests on our program are joining us on our Double Tap Pub hotline. Yes, Double Tap Pub. Burgers, beer, sports, open 11 a.m. until midnight. South 8th Street, right across the street from the Knitting Factory. Oh, Prater has spent a lot of time walking back and forth in that alley. We love our new friends at Double Tap Pub, so hit them up and tell them you love some Prater in the ball game. JP, the Blind Appeal College Football Hour continues. 208-424-9300. Who's the best team in the Pac-12? Easy question. Idaho Sports Talk.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.